everyone, it is weather for Weather Geeks time here on this Monday evening. This will be the only edition of Weather for Weather Geeks this week. It'll be the last one until 2 days after Christmas. I have time off starting tomorrow and lasting through next Monday, so I'll do it again at the end of the video, but I wish you and yours a very, very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season. We will have a distinct pattern change in the weather as we head towards the holiday and into early next week. We'll detail that in a little bit. The story lately, of course, has been the cold. Our low this morning in Youngstown was 10, but I like to show how it can be a lot worse not far to our west. 6 below in Toledo this morning, 0 in Detroit, and Chicago an astounding 13. Below 0, that was the low temperature earlier on today. Our high today was 24, our forecast 23, so we were only off by 1. Our 2016 accuracy is going to finish in the upper 70% range, probably 77 to 79%. I was hoping to finish at 80, but we were pretty close. We had a pretty good year overall as far as our accuracy is concerned, and if you're a little new to this, we consider the forecast accurate if we got the high temperature correct within 2 degrees. The weather is quiet across the region this evening. It is awfully cold out there, but the weather's actually pretty quiet in a lot of the eastern U.S. Most of the action is now shifting towards the northwest and into parts of the northern Rockies, northern plains, and a couple days ago, almost the entire country from coast to coast was covered by some sort of winter weather watch, warning, or advisory. Now it's just confined to the Pacific Northwest, so the weather is quieting down in much of the lower 48. We'll have another quiet day tomorrow. Cold start. I think we started around 8 to 10 degrees on average, but the afternoon tomorrow with a little more of a west to southwest wind, I think we will nudge above freezing tomorrow afternoon. We will get into the mid-30s. Funny how our perspective changes. All of a sudden, mid-30s sounds downright tropical. That's where we should be tomorrow. I think there'll be some high clouds that mix with the sun. Even more cloudiness on Wednesday. The first official day of astronomical winter begins 5:44 in the morning, and there'll be some milky or dim December sunshine through this veil of high clouds on Wednesday, but we'll be snow-free on Wednesday. Our only chance for snow this week is actually Thursday, and it's not going to be much, mostly just mood flurries with this weak front coming in. Notice our isobars are packed pretty tightly here, so it'll be a blustery day. Temperatures Thursday, mid-30s. It'll probably feel like the upper 20s. But that's just kind of a one-day deal. Notice all the dry air and lack of clouds behind this system? That's what's heading our way on Friday. Busy travel day on Friday, and I think the weather will be pretty good. Let's talk about the Christmas weekend. This is the GFS model for Friday evening, Christmas Eve. You're heading off to services or doing some traveling on Friday. I expect the weather to be pretty good. Saturday, I should say, not Friday. I've got my days mixed up. Saturday is Christmas Eve. If you're doing some traveling on Saturday, I think the weather's going to be pretty good for a lot of the day. Now, we do have a small chance for showers towards the end of the day, but notice the GFS here, this is at 7 o'clock in the evening, is keeping most of the showers to our south for a while. So we might get away dry through a lot of the evening. Some showers might try to creep in for Christmas Eve evening, but for those last-minute shopping trips or errands on Saturday for Christmas Eve, overall, not bad. It should get into the lower 40s. Christmas Day on the GFS, we depict a warm front moving through the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. We'll certainly be in the warm sector that day. No worries about any frozen precipitation, really. Probably a few rain showers around on Sunday. Gusty breeze, mild temperatures. I have 49 on Christmas Day. And if this breeze kicks in a little sooner, we get a little deeper into the warm sector, we might crack into the 50s on Christmas Day itself. Most importantly, no wintry weather concerns for people who are traveling. A lot of people, of course, travel at Christmas, and this year looks like we're going to luck out weather-wise. But, of course, a lot of people like some snow at Christmas. They like a white Christmas. Generally, a white Christmas defined as an inch of snow on the ground. A lot of us have, especially northern Trumbull and northern Mercer, a lot of us have 5, 6, 7 inches at least of snow on the ground right now. But with the warmer temperatures coming, we're going to see some melting, and especially by Christmas Eve, we're going to start losing whatever snowpack is out there pretty rapidly. Our historical odds, when we look back to 1930, our odds of having an inch of snow or more on the ground, 35 to 45%. This year, I'm putting our odds only at 10%. Now, it might be closer to 20 if you live in Kinsman or Mespo or Greenville, the far northern reaches of our viewing area. But for most of us, The snow is going to melt and largely go away before Christmas Eve. There might be some slushy, residual spots here and there, and there'll be piles in parking lots that haven't melted, that sort of thing. But it'll all be stale, ugly snow. It's not going to be a nice, pristine new snow for Christmas this year, unfortunately. Always like to look at some stats about Christmas. 66, the warmest Christmas on record here in Youngstown, back in 1982. I'll show you the list of coldest Christmases in a second. And the very next year, in 1983, it was the coldest Christmas. So back-to-back remarkable Christmases in the early 80s. As recently, of course, as last year, it was very mild, 55 degrees. It was in the 60s on Christmas Eve last year. Last year on Christmas Day, it was in the mid-50s. Other dates that might be a little surprising. Everybody remembers the winters of the mid to late 70s, really cold and snowy. Look at Christmas, 1977, on Christmas Day at least. It was pretty balmy at 51. Coldest Christmases, 1983, the high was 1. Most recently, we had a couple of cold ones in 2000 and in 2004, with temperatures in the teens on Christmas Day. In 1989, that was a cold December back in 1989, and Christmas Day itself was no exception. Snowiest Christmases, you might be surprised we don't have a lot of big blockbuster storms on Christmas on this list. 5.4, that's the biggest, back in 2002. Now, there's been some multi-day storms around Christmas, but as far as snow on Christmas itself, from midnight to midnight, 5.4 our biggest number. Back in 1993, we had a few inches, and the most recent here, 2003. Actually, 2002, 2003, we had back-to-back pretty snowy Christmases. Now, the week between Christmas and New Year's is looking pretty balmy. I mean, above average to maybe even much above average temperatures in the forecast for the eastern U.S. Now, that doesn't mean 70s and 80s, but we don't look to have any sort of pattern like we are just sort of getting out of now for the rest of the year. It's going to be a much more tolerable, milder pattern as we go towards the end of 2016. All right, as always, thank you for watching Weather for Weather Geeks. Again, the last edition for 8 days. I'll see you back here next Tuesday. I'll be chiming in on social media. I'll be around as we get closer to Christmas, but the weather overall looks pretty quiet, so you won't hear too much from me. Hope you have a great holiday, everyone. Thanks for watching Weather Geeks, and have a great Monday night.